Hi, my loves. I'm sorry about the lighting in here. Well, I don't know if it's okay or not, but I have one light on. I don't have the overhead light on because I think it would be too much backlight. So I apologize. I'm going to wait for a couple of you to hop on. I posted on here on Facebook community tab today, and I also posted on Instagram for questions that you guys wanted me to answer because I had an article I was going to read, but I figured I'd rather answer the questions that you guys have. Hey guys, hi everyone's hopping on. Hi Renee, hi Erica. So I figured I'd answer the questions that you guys have. Hey Mallory, hey Sarah, I'm glad you guys are hopping on. So I know that you are getting the answers that you want, or the answers to the questions that you have. So let's hop right in. Hey Lisa. Today was a crazy day, by the way, you guys. At around 3 o'clock, 3:30 maybe, the fire alarm at work starts going off. And hey, Angie. Hey, Kelly. And sometimes it's, they do tests. Sometimes it's false alarm. Somebody burned popcorn in the kitchen. So we all kind of like stood up and looked around. And my boss, hey, Panda Mom. Hey, Thomasetta. My boss comes out of her office and she's like, take your stuff, you guys. They smell smoke. And she kind of looked a little like frazzled. So I grabbed my friend that sits next to me. I'm like, let's go. And so we go outside. And as we were approaching the stairwell, it smelled stronger and stronger like smoke. So now I'm starting like anxiety. And I was like, come on, to my friend. I'm like, let's go. So we ran out. We're only, thank God, one set of stairs up. So we didn't see any flames, we didn't see any smoke, anything like that, but we smelled it. So then the fire department came, and of course I'm in the very first row. I got lucky after lunch, I got the very first row, parking spot. So I said to my boss, I'm like, I'm gonna go move my car because I leave at 4 o'clock. I'm meeting somebody at the gym. I don't want the fire trucks to come and block me in. Plus, who knows? Like, I don't want my car to be in the front row. God forbid something happens. So, and I can't get it out. I mean, granted, we're out, everybody's okay, so that's good. And she's like, yeah, right, my boss. She's like, we'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, no, I promise, I'll be right back. So I moved my car, I came back, I stayed till about 4. There were fire department people, like firemen, firewomen. I didn't see if they were men or women, but they were like walking around the building, walking in and out of the building, inspecting everything. So my friend who was there, texted around 5:30 and said that they still had no answers. They left. They let everybody go home at that point. I don't know why they made them stay until 5:30. It's not like we were going back in the building then. But, oh, your baby's been cranky. I'm sorry. But I don't know what happened. So I hope tomorrow's the day off of work because nobody had time. One person grabbed their laptop, but nobody else really had time to grab their laptop. We all just ran out of the building. So that'd be fun if we had a day off. It would be a shame because I can't go out to visit. I have a family party on Sunday, but it would be a free day off of work to get stuff done. Do you guys do that too? You have a day off of work and you're like, I'm gonna get so much done, and then you get nothing done? Hey, Road to Prison. You guys, Road to Prison has a good channel. Make sure you guys go follow him. He is cool. I hope you didn't delete the video from the other night too. I am in Dubai. I can't sleep. Good thing though. Oh, I'm sorry you can't sleep. I didn't sleep very well last night either. I was craving coffee yesterday, which is so weird. I was really, really craving coffee. So I made myself a coffee around 3:30, 4 before I went to the gym. And it wound up being like an espresso type of coffee. And then I was up late last night because I've also been working on my keynote for the Prisoner Family Conference in Dallas. So I was kind of like repeating it in my head and like going through it in my head and adding some points in my head. Okay. I'm delivering the humor parts like I'm Kevin Hart on stage. Seriously, it's not going to happen because I get a little too nervous. But, oh, maybe it's something in the air if everybody was tossing and turning. Okay, I just wanted to wait. Oh, you're pregnant. Oof, yeah, definitely. I hear you just don't sleep the whole last month at the minimum. I'm sorry, girl. You crave popcorn? Yum. So I just wanted to waste some time while we were getting everybody hopping on. Neela, yeah, you can bring whatever you want. You're allowed to bring a notebook. Does the prison he's in have conjugal visits? No, but I'll get into that in a minute. I had 3 hours of sleep, woke up to a screaming baby. Oh, you poor thing. So Adam is in the federal system. So there's they call them extended family visits now, not conjugal visits anymore, but they mean the same thing. There's none of those visits, no conjugal, no family visits, nothing in the federal system. There are only a few states left that have family visits. California, I know, is one. I think New York. Is it Michigan? There are a few states that have them. I can't, Washington State I know is one. I think it's 4 or 5. And then, but even if your federal facility is in, let's say, California, and California State allows for conjugal visits, if your federal prison is in California, they go off of the federal set of rules, so there's no conjugal visits, if that makes sense. If that is confusing, make sure, I thought it was New York, thank you. If that's confusing, go back and watch my video. It's called State Prison versus Federal Prison or something along the lines, and I address conjugal visits, extended family visits in there. It's not too long ago. I posted it maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago max, and you'll be able to get really good information off of there about the difference between federal and state, and also the difference between conjugal visits, who gets them, who doesn't get them. Michigan doesn't have the bow chicka wow wow. Oh, they don't. So Montana, I thought one of the states that starts with an M, but maybe I'm wrong. Nevada, do they have them? I think it's 4 or 5, right? I know it's California, New York, Washington State, and I can't remember the other one. Sorry. So let's answer the questions that I got from you guys. Mama, you're here. Everybody say hi to Lisanne. She's 2 days post-surgery and she's recovering. And I'm telling you, she'll send me some video chat messages and I'm like, girl, how do you look so good? A day, literally as she's leaving the hospital, I'm like, you look gorgeous. I wish I looked like that after surgery. I would be a hot mess, and she looks beautiful. So I'm so happy that she's doing well. In New York, they have to be less than a year to have conjugal. That's very interesting. That's kind of, I get it. Okay, so starting with the questions that I got through here, the community tab and Instagram, I just emailed them all to myself, and then I'll answer your questions too. So if you didn't post one, don't worry, we'll stay as long as we want to stay. I have my phone plugged in so it doesn't die. Hi Ro, your live video tonight. Could you maybe speak on when your husband wants you to pursue a relationship that will give you what he can't give you, physical touch, affection, etc. right now because he's incarcerated? I personally can't right now. Maybe later, I don't know, but that's just me, and I'm wondering what you think about it. Thanks, love. I appreciate all that you do for this community. That's a great question. So that's a topic that comes up all the time. I think sometimes it could be a taboo topic, but I don't think it should be a taboo topic. I think that what works for one prison couple might not work for another couple, but you have to remember, there's nothing normal or conventional or traditional about these types. Oh my gosh, thank you for saying that, Britt. I have nothing on my face. I appreciate it. There's nothing normal or traditional or conventional about these relationships. So there's really no right or wrong way to navigate them. And you can't judge people, and you can't feel insulted if your loved one throws that out as an option, because they're just trying to make it as easy for you as possible. Listen, you got needs. He's got needs. And you have to remember that men think with their man testosterone hormones, right? So a lot of men feel as if the positions were turned, they wouldn't be able to be celibate or sexually loyal to their spouse or their significant other on the inside, because they feel that their needs, men's needs via their hormones and everything, are a little bit more physical. Women's needs are, yes, physical, but there's a lot more emotion wrapped up in our physical needs. So as far as how I feel about that, I think that 1, there is nothing wrong with it. 2, I think that there's too much judgment that goes around by people there's people who have open relationships, and I think people who don't judge those people. But there's nothing to judge there. I can't tell you what's right for you. I can't tell you what's wrong for you. I think when people start getting tripped up, and the reason that things go south is when lies start happening. So I think you need to have a conversation with your loved one and explain to him, I'm not okay with that right now, and this is why. I just want to make it very clear that I've been faithful to Adam. I don't date or see or sleep with anybody else. Well, I don't sleep with them, that's for sure. But that's what works for us. So you have to have a conversation with them and say, like, what makes you say that? Why do you want me to do that? And start talking through all of it with him, because there are a lot of men on the inside that say that, and then it happens, and then they're eating those words, and all of a sudden you're cheating on him and you're not faithful to him. So I think you really, really, really have to have a deep conversation with one another and really talk about how you truly, truly feel about it, explore it, and go from there. But I genuinely don't think if you come to a point in your relationship and you cross that road where you feel like you need to open it up and you need to have those physical needs met, that if you are okay with that and you and your husband are on the same page with that and you're honest with him, now honest with him might look like don't ask, don't tell. That might be honesty. And I've had a friend who it was don't ask, don't tell. And then he asked her, have you ever? And she's like, you didn't want me to tell you. And he said, but I want to know now. And she said, yes. And then all of a sudden he had this huge emotional outburst. Well, but it was don't ask, don't tell. So I think you have to set those rules for your relationship and then you have to stick to those rules. But I don't think that there's anything wrong with the way you're feeling, because a lot of women cannot give their body to somebody else because it's too emotional for them and they're too emotionally invested to the person that they can't have and they're with at the moment, the person who's currently incarcerated. So it almost feels like ice on your skin, like razor blades on your skin, and you can't enjoy the moment. And what's the point of doing something that you can't doing that if you can't enjoy it? It makes no sense. But if you can kind of separate it and it's just physical for you, girl, go for it. So let me just reread your question and make sure that I answered exactly what you're saying. But my thought on it, and if you want my views on it, my views are what works for you. There's nothing right or wrong about it. It's just the only thing that makes it right or wrong is having the conversation with your loved one and coming to something that's mutually understood, I don't know, for both of you. And it works really well for both of you, whatever that looks like. I don't want to hear about it, but then when he asks about it, you have to say, you didn't want to hear about it, so I'm not going to tell you. Or I could talk to you open about it. Or, some guys say their woman can only be with women. It just depends on your relationship, and it depends on if you're okay with being, Mama, what's that word? Poly, or right, you're here. I know Mama was saying it the other day. Polyamorous, is that the word? If you're okay with having multiple partners or being in a relationship with multiple people. That's the word, thank you. Okay, maybe speak on your husband wants you to pursue a relationship. And Adam never really pushed me for that. He always told me from the beginning, I do not have any expectations, and he let me set the pace of our relationship. I just have very old school. I was just raised by old school parents. I kind of was instilled the old school values. Not that I always abide to them, but that was something that just kind of I don't know. It just goes with the way I was raised. I don't think that I personally could enjoy that with somebody else. But if that changes, it changes, I personally can't right now, and I get why you can't, and that's totally fine. That's just me, and I'm wondering what you think about it. Okay, I think I answered everything. I would feel sick if another guy touched me. I think I would probably feel the same way. All I saw was I thought of bringing him an old iPhone. So I didn't see that question. I saw the question about Love After Lockup. I've seen it once, and I only watched 5 minutes of that show in the hotel room. Ironically, I was just flipping the channels in the hotel room after visit, just wasting time before the next day's visit. And I watched about 5 minutes of it, and then I shut it off. I took a shower, I got ready for bed, and I just hung out. But you guys have been asking me to do a review on Love After Lockup, so I guess I'm going to have to sit and actually watch it. But if there was a specific question about it, I will answer it. I always do that with the wrong hand. Thank you for saying subscribe and like. I thought about bringing him an old iPhone and charger for him to find internet access and look for jobs. Esmeralda, is he out or is he in? I'm assuming he's in a halfway house or something. There are episodes of Love After Lockup on YouTube. Oh, good. I guess I'm going to have to do that. Watch it. I feel sick. Okay, I got to that one. Let's see if I scroll up if I can see what that's about. Emotional connections. Yep. It's no secret love after being incarcerated is very difficult. No joke going through it now. Oh, Renee, I'm sorry. You look gorgeous. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I have zero makeup on my face. You finally caught a live. Yay, Jen. Welcome. Okay, I think I hit them all. It's for a guy. I just saw that said, been in prison, will work. Huh? It's for a guy I just saw that said, been in prison, will work for cash. Oh, got it. He's out. Okay, got it. I was like, what? He's in prison saying he'll work for cash? I don't get it. Whoa, took me a second. 2, I'm stressing just a little. Haven't heard from my friend in over a week. I know things can happen like lockdowns, but just wondering if there was a way to find out, or should I just wait it out? Yes, I am. Thank you. Yes, I am. Thank you. I don't know what that means. Also, just found out his dad had a heart attack last week. Oh, this was 2 separate messages. That's what happened. So I said, are you subscribed to us on YouTube? Because I'll answer you there. This was a separate DM on Instagram. So she said, yes, I am subscribed to you on YouTube. Hopefully she's here watching. Then she said in her next comment, I also just found out that his dad, had a heart attack last week. No one in his family has heard from him either. Should I send him an email now and he can see it when he can, or just wait until he gets in touch with me? I'm sorry for all the questions. I'm just trying to figure this all out. Please don't apologize for the questions. That's what we're here for. So first things first, I would say call the prison and ask. It could be so many things. It could be lockdown. He could be in the hole. He could be in lock up. They could have problems with the phones. He could be out of money. After you call the prison and ask to speak to his case manager or his counselor, I don't know, for my prison people who are on here, are those terms interchangeable, or are those 2 different people? Somebody help. I can't remember. And I know I've asked that recently and you guys answered and I forget. But either of those people, about his dad's, and then I would go on Strong Prison Wives on the Invisible Shackles page, and I would ask, so if you're not a member there, requirements are you have to have a loved one who is in the system, because we just make sure, like journalists and people who are kind of looking for we don't want our community to be exploited. This is a very small private page for people who still currently have somebody who's incarcerated, or they were just released, or they were released, a little while ago. But you have to have ties to the system, because we don't want our community to kind of be looked like as lab rats, or sold to or exploited. So we developed that page. You have to have somebody inside, and then there's questions, because it's a secret group, that you have to answer. If you don't answer every single one of those questions, they're not going to let you in. So go on there and ask, join if you're not already a member, and then ask, does anybody have a loved one at XYZ facility? I'm having trouble getting in touch with my loved one. Are they on lockdown? And if somebody comes back and says, no, I heard from my husband this morning, ask them to get a message to your husband and see if he call your wife, And so that's a thing that I always tell you guys. It has helped me so much to make friends with people at Visit. And you don't have to become best friends if you don't trust people. But at one point I had 5 girls that I could reach out to. The minute things got weird and I'm like, all right, I haven't heard from Adam. I should have heard from him by now. Let me give it a couple hours. And if I didn't text them first, which usually by that point I do, one of them would text me like, hey, have you heard from Adam? It's kind of weird. I haven't heard from mine. I'm like, me neither. Let's text the other girl. Me neither. And then you figure they're on lockdown. So that's really helpful. I know in this situation it's too late for that. But I would make friends at Visit. If you can't, or you don't go to Visit, I would ask your loved one, next time you speak to him, obviously, again, with this situation, it's too late, but ask him to introduce you to the loved one of his close friends that he trusts. Again, you don't have to make best friends, but at least if you have text access to each other, or email access, or phone call access, whatever it is, then you can just reach out to that person. And it doesn't have to be a significant other. If his best friend isn't married, maybe that best friend's mom or daughter. So you can have some sort of way to find out, because sometimes when you call the facility, they don't tell you the truth, to be honest with you, or they'll give you the runaround. So his cellmate is a pen pal with my best friend. So do they write letters though? Because if it's just post office mail, then she might not have it might not be out of the ordinary for her not to hear from him for a few days or a week, because it's got to go through the snail mail. If it's email, then I would definitely reach out to her and ask. And then as far as sending him an email about his father's heart attack, personally, okay, so you could do a few different things. And I didn't get from this message, it sounds to me like his father is still alive. He didn't get, the heart attack didn't take his life, but I could be wrong. So I would call the facility and I would ask to speak to the chaplain. And I would tell the chaplain, and then the chaplain, by law, is supposed to go deliver that news, even while they're on lockdown. And by law, they're supposed to get 1 phone call. Does that always happen? No. In my instance, when my mom passed, One of my friends called the facility quite a few times, like every half hour. She was amazing. She helped me a lot with that. And they told her, okay, we're going to get a message, da 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 da. And they were on lockdown. He never got the message. I didn't say it on an email because I didn't want to send that information on email. And that depends on your loved one and their personality. But he called me when they got off of lockdown. Like, he just so happened, he was like, well, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Maybe she's on her way to work. Let me try, because they were locked down for, I think, a week. And he called, and I was like, oh, hey, did you get my email that said call me? It's an emergency. And he was like, no, you sound like you're home. And I said, yeah. And he said, why? And I was like, oh my God, they didn't tell you. And I started to cry. I'm like, my mom died. And he was like, oh my God. I mean, we knew it was coming eventually. We didn't know it was coming that fast. So you can try that route. By law, they're supposed to. Doesn't mean that's 100% foolproof. Then, if as a plan B, personally, I would email him, and I wouldn't say, your father had a heart attack. I would email him and say, you have to call me. I have to tell you something. With Adam, I'll say, when it's not something that serious, I'll be like, nobody's hurt, everyone's okay. I need you to call me so you can tell me, I can tell you something. You might have to say, I need you to call me ASAP. Your family has very important news. Or you could tell him. It just depends on his personality. It depends on how institutionalized he is. It depends how long he's been in. You know him better than me or anybody else. I don't know him at all. You know him better than anybody, and you know how he'll react to that. That is another example. There is no right or wrong here. It's just what works for you and for him and how you think he'll react. Do you want to be able to tell him with your voice, so then he has a reaction and you can respond and help console him? Is he somebody that lashes out in anger and you're afraid that he'll go beat somebody up or get a fight or go use or something like that? So just kind of reverse engineer it, figure out his personality, how you think he's going to react, and then the best way to get that news to him. So I hope that helps. And if I didn't say it already, I don't think I did. I am so sorry to hear about that with your family. That is just awful for anybody in any situation. But it kills me for when people inside have to get bad news. And it happens, unfortunately, all the time because there's so many crazy long sentences. And life goes on out here. It doesn't just stop because your loved one's in jail. So I hope that helps. I'm having a really hard time. My husband is currently serving 2 to 15 years. He's supposed to be released March 18th, 2021. He keeps getting tickets and getting put on loss of privileges. I'm currently 8 months pregnant with his child. I'm so depressed because I'm worried they will deny his release due to him getting tickets. I'm sad and I've been so strong. I've cried for the time today in the whole 8 months. I think she's saying I've cried the whole 8 months. I've cried for the first time today in the whole 8 months. I've been pregnant, even going through court and discussing him, taking the deal, everything. I've been strong. I don't know what to do anymore. I know he's trying, but I don't think he's trying hard enough to stay out of trouble. I just need guidance. I've never been in this position before. He got sentenced April 11th. So I can see this going both ways, to be honest with you. I understand what you're saying, girl. I get you, and I'm with you, and I hear you. Now, on the other hand, it took Adam. Everybody knows the Adam at 43 years old. Nobody knows the Adam at 23 years old. I tell you as much as I can, and I can't wait for him to come and be able to tell you about that. Adam at 23 years old was a very different person. He was a kid. He was a very different person than the man he is at 43. So at 23, he went into prison angry and bitter and misguided, and he was so angry about having a life sentence where nobody was hurt. He was angry because of all the factors that led him to prison that he'll talk about on his own, the way that he was misguided and etc. It was his fault, by the way. He was an adult. He was 23, 24. He was a young adult at that point. He did what he did. So I'm not blaming anybody else. I'm just saying he was misguided, and I'm going to leave it at that. But the government turned on him. His co-defendants turned on him, everything. So he had a big chunk of time. It was about 6 months of going What's like going crazy, going nuts, sowing his wild oats, getting in trouble, getting in fights. He was making wine. He was doing all kinds of stuff in and out of the hole. If you didn't watch my video, I posted it on September 11th about how Adam's life changed on September 11th. He was in the hole when he woke up, and he woke up and found out that news, and that thankfully was a wake-up call he needed to start living on the right path. But that didn't happen overnight. The reason I'm telling you about Adam and that story is there's kind of an emotional thing that happens when they first go inside. It's only been April. You said April 11th, right? So April, May, June, July, August, September. He's only been in for 6 months. He's probably grappling with the emotions, with the fact that his baby is being born. He's not going to be there, with the fact that he might be gone for the first 15 years of his unborn child's life. He's leaving you to struggle and suffer through all this without him. I think he's grappling. Now, that's not an excuse, and that's not me saying justifying his behavior. That's me telling you why it's possible that he's doing that. What I would suggest for you to do is lay some ground rules and to say, listen, I'm not going to stick around through this if you're going to be using drugs and getting in trouble and doing whatever it is. I can't remember what you said, but whatever it is that you're doing and getting in fights and this and that, I'm not sticking around for this. Here's why. I do not expect to ever be a chronic prison wife. I am not going to get trapped in this revolving door with you. It's a one-time deal for me. Unless it's not. For me personally, it is. But I think you need to first not talk to him. I think you need to talk to yourself. I think you need to have some sort of a soul search session, have a conversation with yourself, figure out what you'll stand for, figure out what you absolutely will not stand for. What are your bottom lines? What values is he not what's not kind of like merging there? What do you expect from him? And then present them to him. But before you present them to him, I'm sorry, I forgot this part. I need you to set bottom line boundaries that you can not only stick to, but you will not turn back on. He can't sweet talk you out of those boundaries, because then that's not going to, or those bottom lines, because that's going to mean nothing to him. And then once you allow him to miss a bottom line and you allow him to, oh, I feel bad for him, he's in jail, he didn't mean it, and then he continues that bad behavior, then all you're doing is just saying, okay, we started here, you crossed that threshold, now we're here, there's no reason for him to turn back, you're here, and then he's in jail, or, oh man, I had a bad day that day, it was me, I was emotional, I'm pregnant, I'm gonna let it slide, and then it's here, and they will never go back. Once they cross a threshold, that's just saying, okay, got her, even if it's subconscious. Now I never have to do any of this stuff, and then it's just gonna keep getting further and further and further and further away from what you want. So once you soul search, you figure out what you want, what you need from him, what you will not stand for, set those boundaries, you have to express them to him very clearly, very thoroughly. This is why. And then you can continue your relationship from there. And if he doesn't, that comment just threw me off. Imagine living with me. I don't know what that means. I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. Am I talking too much? I don't know. And then I think you need to set those boundaries, and you just need to move forward. Hi, Bridget. Okay. I hope that answers that question. Let's move on to the next one. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? What are your goals for yours and Adam's life? Well, first of all, Adam better be home in 10 years. I'm just saying. Second of all, we have a lot of visions for our future. So Adam wants to move out to Las Vegas. And I told him, I said, I have nothing holding me to the East Coast. I have nothing that, I don't have children. I don't have a job that I'm married to. I have a job that pays the bills at this point. The only thing that's holding me here for the time being is I promised after my mom passed that I would help my father get his house ready to sell. I'm not just going to leave him with all this work. They have a very large house, and there's a lot that needs to be done. That's the only thing. So like if Adam came home tomorrow, he would probably go to Vegas, and I would, if it was allowed, like I don't know if there's going to be some sort of parole probation stipulations here or in Philadelphia, but I would stay here. We've already talked about this. I would stay here until I helped my father. You guys understand that a girl who could stick around with somebody who has 213-year sentence is a loyal person, loyal as they come. So I'm loyal to my father. I promised him I would help him. And then as soon as that's resolved, which shouldn't take too long, then I will go meet Adam. So if that happens, I'm not saying it will, but eventually we'll settle out in Vegas is what I mean, or on the West Coast, or at least be there short term for a while. Work with changing the system from the outside in, because Adam has literally studied the system for so many years, and he's so brilliant that he knows intricacies, he knows rules, he's spoken to the right people, he knows how things are supposed to work, he knows how they do work, he knows that that is not connected in the right way. So he wants to work with the organization Hope for Prisoners. His very, very dear friend John Ponder runs that organization. He will get out, they will work together, and then he will in 10 years, I hope that obviously we're self-sufficient, like we're doing well, not self-sufficient because we are self-sufficient, but I hope that we're not struggling financially. I hope that we're comfortable. I want to say I hope we have kids, but honestly, it doesn't matter to me anymore. It doesn't matter if we do. It doesn't matter if we don't. It's just if it's in our cards or not. I'm 41 years old. He's 43. He'll be 44? Yeah, he'll be 43 or 44. I think he'll be 44 in November. So, I mean, I'm the one that's running out of time there, but I don't want to, that window could close very quickly is what I'm saying. So I just want to be happy. Like I just want to enjoy the normal things with him, if that makes sense. I just did an interview with him. He actually interviewed me for a call and for one of our video recorded calls. I don't remember if that one posted yet or not, but I said on there, like, I just want to be normal, and I want to really enjoy all of the normal things that other couples take for granted. So I don't want or need anything extravagant or anything over the top. I don't need to travel the world, although of course we'd like to travel, but I just want to be normal. Does that make sense? You're 41, Ro. Look. Thank you, sweetheart. I didn't see that whole comment, but I got the gist. Okay. Next up. The two people asked for, they want something fun. It's been a crazy day. They want something lighthearted. I got you. Tomorrow's video is so fun, so lighthearted, so adorable, and I have a little guest, and it's not a puppy. So I can't wait for you to see that. I pinky promise you're gonna think, I hope, it's adorable, adorable, adorable. So that'll be at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and my next couple of videos are going to be fun like that. I think it's 2 in a row are going to be fun like that. And I think both of them might have been filmed with food in the kitchen. Because, it's like that. That's what's fun for me. So look out for those. If at the end of this video, if you guys want to ask fun questions or, fun facts that you want me to tell you about, or tell me assumptions and I'll debunk them or prove them right or whatever it is, we could do that. But I can't think of anything fun off the top of my head. And I have a couple more questions. So for you girls, know that's coming tomorrow first thing in the morning. What do people like to do at Visit? Any fun games they play? So my experience has been in federal. I do know in state systems there are games. You can play cards. You can take out Bibles. You can do a whole bunch of different stuff. Where I go in the feds, they do have Bibles. They have other religious text, books, whatever, that you could read with the family and you could pray. That's something that people do. Other than that, we're really not allowed to do anything. We're allowed to we're allowed to eat, we're allowed to go to the vending machines and bring them back food, but you basically just have to sit at the table and talk, where I go at least, or everywhere I've gone in the feds. And just so you know, my experience in the feds has been only with high security institutions and medium security institutions. So maybe at a camp you could walk around the grounds. I'm not sure. I don't have that experience. But people always ask Adam all the time, like, dude, what do you do out there for 6 visits with your wife, 6 hours at a visit with your wife? Like, what do you do? Like, do you get bored? Do you want her to leave? And 2 days in a row, he's like, we talk about everything. We laugh, we have fun. Like, yes, it's prison, and yeah, it's not fun, but we enjoy each other's company. We freaking talk. Like, what do you mean, what do you do? Yeah, I've heard people play Uno, people play cards. Mallory, are you feds or are you state? I'm thinking that different levels will be different, but I also am thinking different facilities will be different in the federal system. Maybe some do, maybe some don't. Okay, that's interesting. What level is he? I have heard people, even at mediums, like they'll open the doors and they'll let people kind of, obviously there's fences and gates, but they'll let people walk around. They used to, so at the end of our visiting room, there are doors that open up onto this small little veranda. And a lot of times when they have stuff for the cops, like when we're not there, not on a visit day, but they'll do some sort of a barbecue or something like that, they'll bring grills out there. And years ago, they used to allow visitors to go out there and walk around and get some fresh air and some sun, because I don't know if it happens to you, but it happens to me every time I go to visit around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So I get there at 8. I'm usually not inside in the facility, in the visit room itself, till like 9:30. He comes out shortly after, as long as everything's going well that day. And then around usually 12, 1 o'clock, my visits run till 3. 12, 1 o'clock, I crash hard. And one of my girlfriends was telling me, who was Adam's old roommate's wife. We remained friends. They remained friends, and then he introduced us. So she's like, it's emotional, sweetheart. She goes, there's these highs and like all the anticipation of seeing him, getting there, getting ready, getting up early, making sure you get in, like the anxiety, the emotions, getting in line so you get in there before count. And then finally he comes out and you're like, oh. And then you're not moving around. The air isn't circulating in there. Even when you're at work for 8 hours a day, you're up and down, you leave for lunch, you go to the bathroom when you want, you get up and get coffee when you want, you can go refill your water. You're moving around. The air is circulated. It's not like that in the visit room. So you get really tired. And I literally crash. And he always knows when I'm crashing because like my brain is literally fried. I can't carry on much of a conversation anymore. I get like loopy a little bit. It's strange. But I also, in my own defense, drink a ton of water. Like usually by that point, I'm almost a gallon of water into my day. So I'm only drinking 16-ounce bottles, and I don't drink a lot when I'm there because they come right out of the vending machine really cold. And then I freeze because my blood's not circulating. So it's this huge thing. I don't know how I just got lost on that tangent, but there's not much for us to do. I would love if we could walk around. I would love if they would open those doors and let the fresh air in. That's how I got on that tangent. But they won't. It's all safety and security. I always end up shivering. It's so cold. So many people say that, and I genuinely think it's because we're used to like moving. Even when you're working, you get those breaks. You get that time to move and have your blood flow and all that stuff. So I think like half of the people I talk to say the same thing. In July, I'm dressing in a sweater. I don't think I've ever worn short sleeves there. I could be wrong, but I'm always layered up. I'm always trying to wear closed-toed shoes because I freeze in there. And of course, AC plays a factor, but even in the winter, I freeze when the heat's on. So I think it has more to do with blood flowing. Oops, I did the wrong password. There we go. Just trying to see the other question. If anyone's loved one interacts differently with them at visit after being locked up for 10 years, trails off to something else, is physically there but not mentally there for a bit, possibly due to being locked in the cell for 23 hours a day. So he's different with her now. He's different at visit. He's kind of like spacey. He trails off. He can't really stay on track, kind of like almost ADD. He's there, but he's not there, if that makes sense. His body's there, his brain's not. I think you hit it on the head. I think it has to do with being locked up 23 hours a day. So, Road to Prison, Jojo Tommaso, anybody that's been inside, maybe you guys can help me explain this. But Adam says that when you go into the hole or to 23-in-1 lockdown types of situations, first of all, a lot of times I think that they're not, sorry, my legs are cramping from sitting like this. A lot of times they're not really going out for a rec for that 1 hour because it's more hassle than it's worth, or they don't want to mix on the yard with people, or they're not given that opportunity, although they tell the public that they are. So your body isn't made for that. Your body, as human beings, we're not made to sit in a cage and to be locked in like a 4x6 or whatever the size of the cell is. 4x6 makes no sense, but whatever it is, 8x12, no, I don't know what the measurements are. You guys probably know. We're not meant to be locked into these small little rooms and not move around. We're meant to get sunlight. We're meant to get proper nutrition. We're meant to get proper hydration. It's depressing. They have, like, your brain starts needing stimulation. You don't have it. So I think that even Adam told me one time, or I guess every time when he got out of the hole, you actually have a really hard time walking and doing stairs afterwards because your body's not used to that forward momentum anymore, as crazy as that sounds. So I think, again, that you hit it on the head. I think, like, your brain actually starts to slow itself down because he's locked in. So a resource that I can share with you that I think will help him a lot is a book called Man's Search for Meaning by a man named Viktor Frankl. And he wrote it when he was in a concentration camp way back. And it helps a lot of prisoners. It helped Adam so much. It helped them stay positive. It helps them keep their brains strong. And it helps them stay hopeful for the future while they're in these horrific living conditions. It helps. So the Man's Search for Meaning book, he teaches you how to, like, make your brain not in prison, how to make your brain really grasp for hope for the future, and how to live outside of those walls, although you're stuck there, if that makes sense. And I think that'll help him stay sharp. Also, I think if you're allowed, sending him things like Sudoku books and crossword puzzles and things that keep his mind a little bit sharp. And also, there's a workout that Adam has that he's shared with people because it's for people in this situation. It's called Hell in the Cell. I have it on, it's SHOPTLY /SPWF, I think. And it's a workout for when they're in the hole, because you have to keep moving your body in whatever way that you can. Now, it's a catch-22. If they're not feeding you very much, you can't work out too hard. So you have to find the happy medium so you're not losing too much weight and eating into your muscle and getting your immune system all jacked up and all of that stuff. But it's really helpful too. It's helpful to, and if they don't want to do that, do some sit-ups, do some push-ups, do burpees, do mountain climbers when you sit in a push-up position and you kick your feet in and out. It's like you're running in place, but in a push-up position. That's helpful. I don't know if that's helpful, but I think that'll help him keep his mind on track. But I think you're right. Try to stimulate his mind. Try to have stimulating conversations with him. When he kind of goes out into La La Land, try to pull him back gently, pull him back, and just say, hey, what are you thinking about? And see if that helps. Are you allowed to sit next to each other? Doesn't have to be across the table. Can you kiss and hug? Okay, so with that, it's going to depend on the facility, and it's always also going to depend on the level that they're at. So when Adam was, and again, disclaimer, this was how this one facility ran it. And in the feds, it's not even across the board. Every facility is going to interpret the guidelines differently. So where Adam was when he was in the high, there were these little square tables. I actually have a video where I went into detail. It was a very long video about my very first visit, and I explained what the visit room was like, and I explained my emotions and all of that stuff. So if you're interested, go back and watch that. I think I posted it like last November. Excuse me. So there were these tables. They were square tables, small square tables, and there were 4 chairs around them. They were the plastic chairs with the wire bottoms, and you had to sit across from each other. You could kiss, one hug hello, one kiss, and one hug goodbye, and then you were not allowed to touch at all. Not touching hands, not touching feet under the table, not laughing and like slapping him. You will get in trouble for that. So that was at the federal facility, and like if you're kissing for too long when they're saying goodbye, they're going to scream your name. They're going to scream not your name. They're going to scream the inmate's name, like knock it off. They might like come up on you while you're kissing and watch, which is the most uncomfortable thing that I've ever experienced is to have a man, like I'm kissing Adam, right? And a man is like standing right here. It's awkward. So it's so uncomfortable. Then at the medium facility where he is now, same, one kiss, one hug goodbye. What I find interesting here is it's only closed mouth kisses. Where he was before, they didn't really have a rule about that. You can touch, you can hold hands, light touching. You could hold hands, basically that's it. It used to be that you can lean your head on their shoulder, you could kind of touch his leg, obviously like knee or below, but you could touch his arm, but now they're a little more strict there. You used to be able to sit next to them. They had the chairs all lined up, like think of like church pews, but they were all plastic chairs. I did a video about all of the times that I was aware of that, like my visits and my friends' visits were terminated from visit, and my friends' visits were terminated from visit. Whoa, wow. But where everybody that I'm aware of, the visits were terminated, and I did it with a green screen like I was in a visiting room. So if you didn't watch that video, go back and watch that, and you'll see what the chairs where I go, what they look like. And they were all lined up, just rows of plastic chairs. All the ones on this side are facing the middle. All the ones on this side are facing the middle. And then there was an aisle in between. And up here is the cop's desk at the front of the room. And back at the very back corner of the room is where the inmates are changed out. And that brings them back to the housing units. So we could only sit next to each other then because literally chairs were lined in front of each other, like think like church pews. Now they have it where it's very strange. They moved those chairs originally facing each other, and all the inmates had to sit on one side and all their visitors had to face them, all on one side, visitors, inmates, with square wood or rectangle wood tables in between us. And you were still allowed to lean over and talk, but it was kind of annoying because you couldn't really hear each other. It gets really loud in those visits. And now, one step further, they removed all those chairs, and they got these chairs that are plastic, but they're all connected. Every single chair is connected by a big bar at the bottom. So think like seats at a bus station in 1972. Plastic, uncomfortable seats, all connected at the bottom. They take up so much extra room. There's so much wasted room and wasted space in the visit room because they have them diagonal. So they have a set of chairs across, a set of chairs this way. You're not allowed to move them together. They're really far apart, table in between you. You have to sit apart from each other, across from each other. Unless you have a third visitor, of course, then two people are gonna have to sit next to each other. But I hope that answers your question. Whoa, I just spilled my tea. Always bring a little cardigan to visit, great idea. Any suggestions for making the days I'm counting down till release go any faster? Yeah, I've just been taking it day by day, but it seems to go so slow. So, Becca, great question. My advice is always to set a mini goal between each visit and then big goals between like each year or whatever it is. So I have my book, The Comeback Code. It's available bit.ly/comeback code. And I teach you how to prioritize, how to set goals, how to set mini goals, how to attain those goals while they're inside. It could be anything from I want to get back into the gym, I want to eat more healthy, all the way to I want to get my degree, I want to buy a house, I want to do this while he's gone. And so if you're focused on doing something every day to reach this goal, then that's going to help the days pass because you're not only focused on, he's got this many days left, I have to waste time. You're focused on, okay, I have to do this. And at the end of this, you're not just checking days off the calendar till he gets home like you were over here. You're going to have something tangible. You're going to have a skill. You're going to have a house. You're going to have a better body. You're going to be more healthy. You're going to maybe be off of your medications. Whatever your goal is, you're going to have attained throughout. So I tell especially my lifers, long-termers, death row wives, because we don't have a countdown till release, to set these goals and then have mini countdowns between your visits so you feel like you're counting down towards something and you're not missing out, and it helps avoid that depression. I guarantee you, sweetheart, if you do that, it's going to make it so much easier. It'll make the time pass faster, and it'll make you feel better about yourself, like you're not just putting your life on hold and doing nothing while he's gone, because you have to live too. So I hope that helps. And if you need help with that, figuring out what you want your goal to be, figuring out how to set the goal, what to prioritize to make that your goal, I got you. bit.ly/comeback code. Okay. I was on the inside of jail, not for very long, but it was freezing. Girls would wrap their arms with toilet paper. No joke. Jen, I heard that the other day, and I also heard that solitary confinement is like an ice block. Do they do that for like germs, or do they do that just to like punish you? And that's interesting because like they have people dying of heat stroke in Texas in the middle of the summer. Oh, so annoying. Family day at the camp level, they barbecued. Oh my God. It's the little things. Hi, Leslie. My fiance told me how it was when he was in psych hold. There are no interactions and nothing to do to pass time. It can make you have a mental breakdown. Yeah, our brains and our bodies were not wired for that. And I feel like a lot of this is done to purposely break them down physically. I'm sorry, psychologically and emotionally. And that's why that book is super helpful. I know in psych and in like blank watch, I'm not allowed to say that word on YouTube, but they're not allowed to get books. But once they're in either whatever it is, their PC, solitary confinement, or back in general population, send them that book. Susan from Houston said to tell you hi. I would love to connect with you. She's my best friend, and you used to, oh my God, I know Susan. I miss her so much. I hope she's okay. Please, 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 please give her my love. Please, if she'd like to reach out to me, I still have the same email address. And also, Leslie, feel free. Email me, strongprisonwives@gmail.com. Oh my gosh, I missed her. She was such a sweetheart. I've gotten much better at coaching, too. I wasn't certified then. Hey, just saw this notification. Hey, Melinda. The size of a bathroom. Good analogy. Thank you. That's how the chairs are at the low-level Fed. Oh, I can't wait for physical visitation. I've done visitation where a glass partition was between us, and he had to be handcuffed the whole time. Oh, Faith. Oh, yeah, and it's these little wins that we have to celebrate. Like, I'm sitting here complaining that a cop is all up in my business while, I said that funny, all up in my business while I'm trying to kiss Adam goodbye. Meanwhile, I get to kiss him. He's not on the other side of glass. So I love that. I love that you're celebrating that, and you just kind of made me put myself in check. Thank you for that. Hi, Addie. Will Adam be transferring? We haven't decided yet, or he hasn't decided yet. Lisa says goals. Oh, you read my mind. If you had the power to change 3 things about prison, what would you change? Oh man, that's a good question. I feel very on the spot. I don't know. First of all, I think I would, in one fair swoop, here we go. This is going to change a lot of things in one. So I would make U.S. prisons run like Norway or those other countries where they're actually rehabilitating the guys and women and doing what prison was meant to do here, not punish, rehabilitate, and put them back on the street, and most of them don't reoffend. So I would do that. That's going to change a ton of stuff. So now I don't have to have a list of 45 million and feel bad. That I would bring back parole in federal prison, because why did they take it away? And I would, oh my gosh, this is so hard to pick just 3. I feel like that one will get rid of all of the corruption and everything. So, and 3, I would, I have an angel and devil. Should I be selfish? Should I say Adam gets to come home? Or should I be for like the greater good and say something else? I was going to say mandatory minimums, like abolish mandatory minimums, but bringing back parole would probably help with, oh my God, you guys, this is so hard. This is so hard. Can we do parole and mandatory minimums in the same one? So then I have a 3rd? Make it healthier, like change the food, change the corruption. I could go on for days and days and days. That sucked. Worst answer ever, but I'm trying. Can you give my boyfriend a shout out? Of course. He gets out tomorrow. I just got to the hotel. Oh my God. Was listening to the live chat while I was driving up there. Thanks, Ro, for all your videos. Jacqueline, if you want to let me know your boyfriend's name, I will definitely give him a shout out. But shout out to Jacqueline's boyfriend. We are so proud of you. We are pulling for you. You got this, one day at a time. Behind every successful man is a good woman, and she's there rooting for you, and we're all her sisters behind her, pushing you along. You've got this. Welcome back. Lots of love to both of you. Visitation is only 4 hours. Last weekend took 2 hours and 45 minutes to get in. Oh, it was so frustrating. People were upset. Oh my God, that happens to us all the time. One time I got there before 8 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get back there until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Then you're right. People get upset. People start getting grouchy. They start fights out in the visit room, not in the visit room, in the processing room with one another. And the cops love it because then they get to come in and say, if you can't act like grown-ups and you don't act like animals, yes, this is an exact conversation that was once had in front of me between two people who were fighting. And then we're going to cancel visits for everybody today. So figure it out. And then we might call the local police department to come and take care of you too. Like, part of me thinks it is just so, they do it on purpose. They've helped me through so much. I'm so sorry you had to see him in cuffs. Yeah, that's gotta suck. Yo, hippie. Hi, Lane. I'm glad you called my live too. Thank you for all you do. You have helped me through my man's sentence. He will be out in a year. Yay. You've really helped me so much. I'm so happy that I was able to help you. Is there ever an amount of time that you'll walk away from Adam where you come to realize he's never getting out and you need to move on? Do you have a time frame? Are you in this with him forever? Ever? I don't know. That's a good, I mean, I do not have like, if by the time I'm 43, Adam's not home, I'm leaving him. No. But I also live realistically and I take it one day at a time. If my feelings change for Adam, or I'm done with it, then I will have that talk with him. I have to take it one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 year at a time. So as of now, I don't have a set date. How could I do that to him, you know? But then again, like what if I say, but I'm 45 and I turn 45 and then 3 days later or 2 months later, he gets out, you know? So right now, I don't believe that this is going to be forever. You guys don't have to believe me. You guys can think I'm crazy for that, but I don't. And we're pretty close. I mean, we're closer than we've ever been. Not saying that nothing is set in stone. And you learn very quickly, or sometimes it takes a long time with legal stuff that they could do whatever they want. It could take however long, and they can draw it out however painfully they want to. They can make it go for years, if at all. So I know it's a possibility, but I still in my gut don't believe it. I asked that in the most positive way possible. I have faith Adam will get out soon. Thanks, Jen. Hey, Ro, finally got on your live. Yay! Hey, Ro, it's good to see you live. Hey, Chelsea, you're very helpful and have a very inspiring story. Whoa, I must have been talking for over an hour because all my text messages just came through. Oh my gosh. I hope things start looking up for you guys. Much love from Texas. Thank you, Chelsea. Much love back to you. It's cold because of the germs. Reform the food. I've been to a couple places. It's always been cold AF in the winter, and they would do nothing for you. Yeah, Travis. So Adam is in Bradford, Pennsylvania, which is as north and west as you can get in Pennsylvania. Like an hour and a half, I think, 90 miles from Buffalo, 3 hours from Canada. Point is, winter, it's cold, and winter is long. And the first 2, 3, maybe 5 years he was there, they didn't have hot water in the showers. He said that it was so cold that the soap literally wouldn't lather. And I'm like, well, I think that's because you're not wet enough for it not to lather, but that's just straight torture. And then finally, they got the hot water heaters, whatever, put in there. But like, what are you doing? All of these facilities that don't have air conditioning, they don't have air conditioning either, and that sucks. But no air conditioning in Texas when it gets to 125, 130 degrees, and then more inside of a cell with no circulation, no air, no windows that open, or then freezing cold in the winter. Like, come, these are people. These are people. It doesn't have to be the Ritz by any stretch of the imagination, but come on. Education, Lisa, good one. 98 degrees and they made you stand in the heat. See, these are the things that make me upset. I'd say make guards wear body cams that are monitored by a neutral party. Ooh, that's a good one. All prisons should be nonprofit, and yes, they need to rehabilitate. Oh, see, I should have asked for a lifeline. I needed to call my friends. You guys are good. You're on this. You're prepared to give yourself grace if needed. Life happens. I love that. Melinda with the mic drop. What prison is he at and how far away are you from him? Adam is at FCI McKean and I'm about 6 hours away in New Jersey. So he's in, like I said, northwestern Pennsylvania and I am in New Jersey. I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Hey, beautiful. Hey, Cindy. Hey, Ro, your story is so interesting to me. Did you and Adam ever date outside of prison or have you only been a couple while he was in prison? So we knew each other before. We were very good friends. We never dated. I would change the phone system. Why am I getting allergies? It's probably from this. I would change the phone system. I'm jumping through hoops to get my number approved so he can call. But yet we talk every day while he was in county. The phone system is another huge one too. Belgium and Netherlands are excellent incarceration and rehabilitation facilities. I plan to do a video on the difference. So you guys go follow Road to Prison so that you could watch that video. I'm very, very interested in seeing that. Praying for you and your husband. There are so many really horrible monsters that are not serving nearly enough time. Your husband's making a difference. It's not fair. Thank you, Tracy. And hopefully someday soon, one day, very soon, somebody with the power to change that will help us. Hey, Ro, just caught you. Have you ever watched the Release series on the OWN network? You want to hear something funny? I've recruited to help them find people for their show, but I've never watched it. But I would do anything for the OWN network. And I talked to the producers and they were wonderful. And I have a funny story about that, but I'm not going to throw her under. But I've never watched it. I should, though. Oh, hey, Jess. I watched it last week. It was amazing. They had a lot of interesting stories and success stories of cons that got cut off. When it's cold, it burns your head. I had to deal with that in prison. Ugh. We were sentenced to life and 25 to life, and he got out. Yes. How do you talk to Adam to help him calm down when he's mad? Adam, thank God, has such a good handle on his emotions. It doesn't take a lot, but he doesn't really get to that point a lot. But it still happens. And it happened quite a few times over the past few months because things are just getting really hostile in there from staff. They're taking more and more stuff away from them. Now the latest and greatest is they're not allowed to have any books. No books. You're not allowed to send hardcover. You're not allowed to send softcover. You're not allowed to send paperback. Nothing. That is ridiculous. Is that a constitutional right? Somebody let me know because that's got to be fought anyway. So there are days, he's human. Yes, he's got a very good handle on his emotions, but he still has rough days. He still gets down. He still gets angry. He still gets upset, and I can always tell, and he'll have like a little bit of a tone in his email or a rant, and he'll say, I'm sorry, I was just venting. And I always tell him, okay, just breathe. Just breathe. We're going to be okay. And I guess I have a way to like the way that I say those words, because when you're fired up, you don't need anybody to ever tell you to calm down. It's like when a man tells a woman, you must have PMS, you're being a bitch. Like that is those are fighting words right there. So you just have to watch your words. I just watch my words with him. I tell him we're going to be okay. It just happened to us the other night, you guys, and I got the whole thing on video, and I'm posting it. Yes, I am. He didn't want me to, but it doesn't matter. Not him having an emotional breakdown. We kind of got into a disagreement on one of the calls that we were recording. And I said, right when the phone hung up, I was like, oh, that sucked. I said, but I bet you he's going to call back. Once you've been doing this for a long time, you learn each other. And he did. And then he told me he kind of was able to take steps back and go back to his cell and just like soul search and think about things and do whatever he does to calm himself down, like listen to meditation music maybe, whatever he does. And he was like, I'm just really stretched thin. I'm trying to do everything that I possibly can to get myself home to you, to get myself home to my parents before they aren't here anymore, so I can spend time with them before they die. They're not getting younger. His dad's in his 70s. His mother's right about there. And so he said, I've done everything that I possibly can. I mailed my very last letter. Now it's like he threw spaghetti against the wall and he just has to wait and see what sticks. And if it sticks, how long it takes before it drops, or how long it'll stick there. And it is excruciating for him because he wants to be doing, he wants to control. There's nothing to control there. And so it comes out in this like frenetic energy that came out in a disagreement between us. So when I got him, when he took steps back and I was like, breathe, when I first answered the phone again, I was getting kind of snippy back because he was like, I need you to do it with the letter. And I was like, okay, I think I said this on another live, so I apologize for the repeat, but I was like, okay, so did the attorney reach out to them or not? And he's like, I don't know. I said, okay, so should I call the attorney and find out if he did or didn't? And he was like, let me do that. And I said, okay. And when we do reach out to them, we're asking them for letters to support you in this avenue or this avenue. And he's like, let me think about it. And that got him to take steps back enough to realize he didn't even think through what he was upset about. So you just kind of have to like slowly talk them through it. You have to stop yourself from being reactive, because if somebody's going to be like that to me, I'm going to be like that back. I'm going to go real Jersey, real fast. And I had to stop myself and be like, okay, he's freaking out. I've got to slow down. He wasn't doing it towards me. He wasn't being a jerk to me. He wasn't speaking to me in any way that I didn't deserve to be spoken to. It wasn't like that. It wasn't disrespectful. Never does. But so I was able to kind of step out of my own ego and just slow him down and make him realize it himself. I don't know if that helped or not. Personal question, you don't have to answer, but how do you deal with lack of sex? LOL, working out. You nailed it on the head. Yes, working out. It releases very similar endorphins. I mean, does not having sex for so long suck? Of course it does. Of course it does. But it's just, it's one of those things, it's like when you go on a diet and all you want is ice cream or chocolate or pizza because, oh God, you just had it yesterday and it tasted so good. And then 4 weeks later, you're like, I got this. I'm not craving it anymore because it's out of your system. I mean, I'm comparing chocolate to sex and pizza and ice cream right now, but it really is like that. Like, it's almost like the longer you go, the easier it is. It's not easy, but the longer you go, the easier it is because you're not so tempted by it anymore. This is me as a woman. I know men are very different, but think about the guys inside there that have to go for so many years without it. It just is what it is. It's not too personal to ask me those questions, but working out helps me a ton. If I didn't work out, I would probably be very wound tight. It would probably be really hard for me to deal with that. And it's just not part of my life right now, and that's okay. Conjugal visits, housing prisoners closest to family as possible. So I don't know if that was a question. I don't think that was a question because that's from Road to Prison, who knows the system. So I'm assuming that you were, sorry, my legs are cramping. I'm assuming you were answering somebody else. Hi, Ro, your story is so interesting to me. Did you and Adam ever date outside of prison? Oh, I answered that. Okay. What's the best audiobook you've listened to recently? Oh, these questions are killer. Okay, the best audiobook that I've listened to recently. I'll tell you my favorite audiobook of all time. I haven't been to visit for a while, so I don't remember the last recent ones, but I'll give you a few. Okay, number one audiobook of all time. Do not buy the book. Get the audio version because you need to hear the speaker accent and you need to hear the way she pronounces certain words. I love her. It is Troublemaker by Leah Remini. Favorite audio book of all time. So it's all about her life in Scientology. It's all about from the very beginning when she was like 7 years old, goes through all of that, and then she starts exposing celebrities like Tom Cruise and how Tom Cruise was trying to, or his people were trying to get her to bring J-Lo to that wedding because they're best friends and they just wanted the publicity. And then what it was like to get out and all of like her show, I don't know if you guys have seen it, is meh, it's nothing. Even though I still love her and the show's okay, it's nothing compared to that book. And she okay, I'm a New York girl at heart. I lived on Long Island. My whole family lives on Long Island until I came to Jersey when I was preteens. But her New York accent is amazing. The way she says the word F-U-C-K is incredible with her Brooklyn accent. It is such a good book. But other two really good books were Rachel Hollis, Girl Wash Your Face. Great book. That was a great listen. And then an okay listen was her second book, Girl Stop Apologizing. And the reason why it was only okay for me is because it was stuff that I've heard throughout the years from other people, so it's a lot of repeat for me. Good repeats, but I probably wouldn't finish that book. I haven't finished it. Michelle Obama's Becoming was good. Alice Marie Johnson book was amazing. I even listened to Teresa Giudice's book, which was okay. I had to listen to it on double speed because she read it very slow, but those prison type of books were good. I saw a meme not too long ago that said we should pay for XYZ if prisoners get free food while incarcerated, and that just made me sick. You know, it is sickening. And the way that they have the public believing and the public perceived of 3 hots in a cot, it's just, you want your 3 hots in a cot so bad? If that's your mentality, go to jail. Go to jail. You're welcome to take Adam's spot. Go ahead. Sure. You want 3 hots in a cot? You want to give them free food? Pay XYZ? You go right ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll hold the door for you. Do you drive that every weekend? Absolutely not. It's once a month. I used to do it twice a month. It got too much because I have to take a day off of work. That's a lot of money, and not a lot of money to take a day off of work, but it's a lot of money to drive that often, get hotels that often. And in those areas, they're jacking up the hotel rooms. It's a fuel town that he stays in, or that's around the area that the hotel's in, that the prison is in. Oh my God, I'm a mess. And so they jack up the prices because the people that are going there work for these fuel companies with all this money. So the companies pay, like, it's like no less than $100 a night for a hotel. And some of them are very seedy. And then it goes up from there for better hotels. I got them for like 60, 70 at points for like the real seedy places. But I can't do that every single week. So I did every 2 weeks. Now I go once a month. It's been a couple months since I've been there just because of the way that my schedule has been. I want to go back soon though, because over the winter, starting like November, December, I'm not going to be able to see him until March, April because of the winter. It's hard. I'm not going to drive out there in the winter and risk the weather causing any problems. Do you guys have a rough timeline on what you guys are working with on his out time, or you can't answer? Adam's timeline is very different from the attorney's timeline, from my timeline. I think like his family is somewhere in the middle. So, I mean, I hope Adam's right, but I'm going to leave you guys hanging on that one because I don't know what I'm allowed to say yet, but we're working on it. And as soon as I can, I will let you know. What's the craziest thing you've ever saw during visit? The craziest thing was what Adam and I call the Hamburglar incident. I have a video about it before. It's called How to Bring K2 into Prison or something along those lines. It was literally, not how to, but like bringing K2 into prison, something like that. This girl goes up to the vending machine, she buys a hamburger, and then she goes to the microwave and she microwaves the hamburger. Now I'm sitting all the way in the back corner of visit. The microwaves are all the way on the opposite end of the room. Like I was telling you before, the room where the guys get changed out and come out of is back here in this back corner. I'm on the opposite side of that, and the cop's desk is up here in between. Pretty large room. So I'm not paying any attention. It's like towards the end of visit. Maybe it's like 1 o'clock, 1:30. Visit ends at 3. And all of a sudden, I see the cop yell something to that guy. The guy was very, very, very dark skinned. So she is just sitting there, looks up. The guy jumps up, and from what I see, he's foaming at the mouth. And I was like, Adam. And then the cops, like 4 of them, jump on him. He goes running. The inmate goes running across the room to the trash can that's right next to me. So it's trash can, Adam, me. They tackle him in front of that trash can and they drag him out. And so I was like, what just happened? And Adam was like trying to play it off because everybody got quiet. Everyone was petrified. So he was like, they caught him. Like obviously he had something on him. They were doing an exchange and they saw it, they caught it, they were watching him, they were on him on the monitors. And I said, but why was he foaming at the mouth? And he said he wasn't foaming at the mouth. What happened was, she went to the microwave, she made that sandwich, she put whatever baggie she had inside or on top of that sandwich. He took a bite. As he took a bite, right, trying to get whatever was in that sandwich, they saw him. He had bun all over his lip, but his skin was very dark and the bun on his lip was so light that it looked like the man was foaming at the mouth. So I forgot this part. So when they tackled him at the garbage can, he was obviously trying to dispose of whatever it was that he had. So they bring him to the back. Now this one cop, so a couple cops like drag him out to the back. He drags that garbage can up towards the front because now they're searching the garbage can. And the girl runs up and she's trying to like get involved. And the cop's like, stay back there. And then he's like, what'd you give him? And now they're having words. I couldn't hear what they were saying. But after that, the whole room was silent. Everybody was afraid to get up and go use the microwaves. Finally, like, I don't know, 2 o'clock, maybe 2:30, because visit ends at 3. Adam's like, can you heat up a hamburger for me? Because he was, or maybe not hamburger or whatever it was, but he was starving. So I finally got up to use the microwave, and then everyone else started moving back around. And maybe it wasn't 1 o'clock when this happened, because that was probably like 15 minutes after this. But that was the craziest thing I've experienced. I mean, somebody saw somebody drop a baggie right in front of the metal detector the other time I was there. There's been some crazy stuff. I told you about the time they made me get in a closet. If you guys didn't know that story, when the cop was being so friendly with me, and then all of a sudden he's like, ma'am, I'm gonna need you to get in the closet. Get in the closet, yes. That is in a video. It's called Being Strip Searched at Prison Visit. Go back and watch that. I'm sorry about the quality. The camera was out of focus, but I didn't have time to refilm that video. That one was crazy. I saw a woman who was extremely, extremely high in visit with her children. That was very disturbing. What else did I see? I mean, I've seen some nasty stuff take place in the bathroom, not with people, just, do I even want to tell this one? No, I don't. This is disgusting. Just disgusting, like people being just pigs in the bathroom. Not anything sexual or anything like that. Just gross. But I think Hamburglar was one of the craziest things I've seen. Oh, you got your cheeks busted by COs in 2001. I'm so sorry to hear that. Let's get rid of you. I don't know how to get rid of you. Somebody get that comment. Breaking the cycle is good. No, they can't have books anymore. So silly. Do you guys have a rough timeline? Okay. Answered that. How do you manage your stress and make sure not to take it out on Adam? Ooh, good one. Today's a blah day for me. I was just overwhelmed with everything between my stuff, our kids, my husband, and I just felt like being quiet, you know? Okay, so that's a really good question. And in the beginning, it was hard. And then in the beginning, I noticed that I was picking fights with him because I wanted attention. So on those days when things were negative, I would literally snap and say something that I knew was going to make him pick up the phone and call me. Instead of saying, listen, I'm having a rough day. If you have some minutes, can you give me a call? Or I need some extra attention or something like that. I would stick something to him. So I think it's learning each other. I think it's growing up. I think it's, I'm going to have to get that call in a minute, so I'm going to go in a second. But I think that it's just really getting in tune with yourself and finding your own stress relievers before you get to that point. So for me, like I said, it's working out. It's listening to certain music. It's taking breaks when I need them. Like at one point last week, I felt like I was getting sick. I wasn't sleeping well. I felt like I was getting run down. I came home from work. I told my workout partner I'm not coming tonight. And I literally laid on the couch and watched TV the rest of the night. I never do that. I don't do that. That's not me, especially since my mom died. Like, I don't like to not do anything. I needed that. My body was craving rest. It needed rest, and I had to listen to it. So listen to your body. What works for you as far as stress relief? Try out different things. Google stress relievers. It could be something as simple as taking a walk in nature. It could be something as simple as getting up early, 5 minutes and extra early and meditating. It could be going to church if that's your thing. It could be reading magazines. It could be anything, whatever works for you. Again, for me, it's working out. A lot of people, it's journaling, writing it out. A lot of people, it's dancing, just putting on music and dancing it out. Whatever it is that works for you. And then make that your go-to thing when you feel like that to get the energy out before you reach out to him, and hopefully that'll help. When you're mad at your man and he tells you to calm down, it's the worst. Yeah, or for like, my sister was babysitting for like a family friend one time, and the guy had not had lunch, and he was just being cranky, and so he was fighting with being with his wife, and she's like, would you like a sandwich? It's like when you're hangry and somebody calls you out on it, or I'm telling you the worst of all is when my men on here, listen to me very carefully. Never ask a woman if she's PMS when she's being cranky, because you just don't. Do you want to open that can of worms? You don't. I'm telling you, you don't. Because even though she is, and she knows she is, she will deny it. She will deny it, and be like, that's not why. It's not me, it's you, buddy. It's not my hormones, it's you. Don't do it. Same thing, just file it away with if she asks me if her butt looks big. I'm telling you. I'm blessed that if my fiance and I have a disagreement, he always calls back, and asks them, okay. Oh, you guys, I know I missed so many comments. If I missed questions, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do them again. We've been on for an hour and almost 20 minutes, and I just missed a very important phone call, so I'm going to go back and call her back. And I love you guys so much. We could do this again in a couple days, and I will continue to answer those questions or revisit whatever I missed here. I love you guys. Thank you so much if you've been on since the beginning and you've hung out with me. Heather, yeah, I'm so excited for you. Heather's honey is coming home in like, what is it, 20 something days, 20. She texted me this morning. It's like 22 days, 20 hours, 15 minutes, and blah, blah, blah seconds. And I was like, but who's counting, Heather? I'm so excited for them. So anyway, you guys keep staying strong, keep loving strong, keep supporting one another through this journey, because you're one day closer to it all being over. And Lord knows I am too. Lots of love from my heart to yours. I'll see you, beautiful ladies and gentlemen, in the next one. Bye, guys. If you have any requests, by the way, or questions that you want me to do on my next live video, just let me know. You could either email me, strongprisonwives@gmail.com, reach out to me on social media at strongprisonwives on Instagram, or put it in the communities tab under today's comment, and I got you. Love you guys.